2,000 years ago, a brutal war between humans and demons plunged the world into chaos. To end this conflict, Demon King Anos Voldigoad sacrificed himself so that peace could finally take hold. At present, it is time for the enrollment exam at the prestigious Demon King Academy. Amongst the students is a striking young man with black hair named Anos. On the day of the entrance exam, Anos encounters Misha Necron, a shy girl who's just as embarrassed as he is by the overly enthusiastic cheering from her guardian. They arrive at the academy, only to be targeted by Zeeps Indu, a big shot from the Indu family because clearly he has nothing better to do. Our guy? He just rolls his eyes and ignores him, which makes Zeeps even more furious. Zeeps tries to roast them literally, but Anos snuffs out the flames like it's a birthday candle and makes the demon rethink his life choices. It's like he's playing chess and Zeeps is stuck on checkers. During the practical exam, guess who's fighting Anos? That's right, it's Zeeps again, but this time he came prepared, wearing anti-demonic armor, as if that's going to stop him. Zeeps pulls out a family heirloom sword, Zephrid, and aims to turn Anos into a kebab. But before Zeeps can even come close and strike him, he puts out the sword's flame with a small blow, as if he's blowing out candles on a cake. To make things interesting, he gives himself a handicap and challenges Zeeps that he won't move and yet will still defeat him. Next thing you know, Zeeps starts bleeding because Anos is messing with his heartbeat through magic. Talk about overkill. Still determined, Zeeps insists he'll never surrender unless compelled by magic. Anos, always up for a challenge, agrees not to use any compulsion spells and simply disintegrates Zeeps with a snap of his fingers. Then he revives him, and does it again. And again. Holy shit, this guy is insane. He casually mentions he could keep this up forever thanks to some magical 3-second rule. Zeeps, now thoroughly spooked, kneels down and surrenders. Damn, who is this guy and why is he so powerful? Next up is the magic power assessment. Misha scores a whopping 100 in 246. When it's Anos' turn, in pure Ice-Sky fashion, the crystal ball breaks from his mana, landing him with a big fat 0. Misha, surprised, says she's never seen such power before that destroys the crystal and explains she knows because of her demonic eyes. Then during the aptitude test, students are quizzed about the Demon King of Tyranny, Anos Voldigoad. Our protagonist scoffs, finding the questions ridiculously easy. Afterwards, Misha waits for our black-haired guy, who invites her to his place. They teleport using a spell called Gadam, which Misha finds astonishing because it's supposedly ancient magic. At Anos' house, his cheerful parents jump to the conclusion that Misha is his fiancée, leading to a bit of confusion. He plans to clear this up later. They celebrate with mushroom gratin, his favorite dish, to mark his acceptance into the academy. Later, while they're walking outside, a magical arena forms around them, and they encounter Leog Indu, the older brother of Zeeps. Leog promptly kills his younger brother for being a weakling. Damn, that's one cold-hearted guy. Leog and his crew then try casting some powerful spells, but their magic spirals out of control and they explode. Leog survives and prepares a risky spell, Durast, only to find Anos still standing, unscathed. This completely shocks Leog. Just then, Anos reveals a very shocking fact. Origin magic doesn't affect the origin itself. In other words, spells don't affect the guy who made them. What is that supposed to mean? Huh. Feeling unusually generous, he gives Leog a chance for risking his life with the spell. He revives Zeeps with a spell that turns the dead into zombies. Anos challenges Leog to prove their brotherly bond by calling out Zeeps' name, but Leog fails and is killed. He revives both brothers, critiques the weak sibling bonds of today, and blows up the arena. As the Indu brothers wonder who this powerful figure really is, he finally drops the bombshell. He is none other than the Demon King of Tyranny, Anos Voldigoad, their founder. 2,000 years ago, in the mythical age, a gathering took place at the formidable demon castle Delsgate where Anos proposes the ultimate sacrifice, his own life. Hence, everyone gathered cast a spell and hero Kenon, the dark blonde-haired guy, stabs Anos with his holy sword, turning him into a massive ball of magic power. In his final moments, Anos promises Kenon they'll be good friends if they ever meet again. This is followed by a massive explosion, and the world splits into 4 parts, leaving behind a tale that would echo through the ages. 2,000 years later, reincarnated as a baby, he makes his grand entrance by announcing his name before anyone's even had a chance to change his diaper. Over at the Demon King Academy, Misha casually mentions that no one's ever flunked the aptitude test. Anos, sure he aced all the questions about himself, is baffled. Using his mind-reading powers, he finds out the founder's name is Voldigoad. As Misha keeps talking, a girl saunters by and sneers at Anno's badge, adding to the weirdness. The bell rings, and homeroom teacher Emilia Luduel starts the class, looking for team leaders who can cast Jais. Annos volunteers, but there's a catch. White uniformed students can't be leaders. Never one to back down, Annos challenges Emilia. If he proves hybrids aren't inferior to purebloods, he leads. If not, he drops out. Then, he shows off by redrawing the Jai's magic circle, making it twice as powerful, leaving Emilia and the class speechless. Guess you should never judge a book by its cover. Next, the team leaders introduce themselves. The sassy girl from earlier, she's Sasha Necron, the Witch of Destruction. Misha spills that Sasha's her older sister. Annos then dramatically reveals himself as Annos Voldigoad, the true demon king of tyranny, and calls out the fake name they've been using. No one's really buying Annos's "I'm the real deal" speech. They label him as a misfit, and so the class splits into groups, and only Misha joins Annos because, well, they're friends. Sasha isn't done causing trouble. She takes a cheap shot at Misha, calling her a defective little junk doll, hitting way below the belt. Annos casually points out her flawed understanding of magical dolls. Sasha, now seriously annoyed, unleashes her demonic eyes of destruction, but they don't even faze Annos. He coolly counters with his own magic eyes, leaving her absolutely flabbergasted. In a bid to bring the sisters closer, he invites Sasha to join his team. She storms off in a huff, declaring she never saw Misha as her sister. Seriously, what's with the people in this anime and their sibling issues? Later, as Misha and Annos leave school, they bump into Sasha. They make a deal. If Annos' team wins the upcoming battle, Sasha joins them. If not, Annos becomes hers. A week later, the much-anticipated duel finally arrives. As expected, Annos demonstrates his mind-blowing power, proving once again that he's the mech of this story. Annos effortlessly twirls Team Sasha's castle, a structure built by an enormous force on his index finger like it's a toy. Seriously, how much power does this guy have? Sasha and her team are left utterly gobsmacked, having never imagined their meticulously constructed fortress could be treated like a mere ragdoll. Undeterred, Team Sasha throws everything they've got at him, using Jew Grays, confident that Annos can't possibly top it. But to their astonishment, Annos counters with a spell called Grega. Sasha is left reeling, unable to believe he could wield such a powerful spell. With the battle decisively won, Sasha reluctantly joins Annos' team. However, Annos explains he didn't just want her on the team for Misha's sake, but also because he genuinely finds Sasha's demonic eyes beautiful and filled with immense magic power. To celebrate, Annos invites the sisters to his home for dinner. Later, as he walks them back, both sisters hold hands, indicating they've probably made up. Just before parting ways, Sasha surprises Annos with a kiss, adding a dramatic and unexpected twist to the end of the day. On the way home, Misha and Sasha talk about their feelings for Annos. Sasha, with a blush barely hidden, denies having feelings for him, but admits she's impressed he can look her straight in the eyes without being obliterated by her magic eyes of destruction. She gets all nostalgic, recalling how Misha could always look her in the eye. Feeling a pang of guilt, Sasha apologizes to Misha, who forgives her with a smile. The next day at the academy, Annos, Sasha, and Misha sit together as a newly formed team. Sasha drops the news that her former teammates want to join Annos' team too, who refuses, saying the three of them are more than enough. Sasha, however, insists, pointing out a minor detail Annos overlooked. They need at least 7 members to participate in any class competitions. Their teacher then announces that one of the 7 elder demon emperors, Ivis Necron, created by Annos from his own blood, would be giving a special lecture on magic. These demon emperors, it turns out, founded the academy and serve as its deans. Annos figures if anyone would remember him, it'd be this guy. As the skeletal mage walks in, Annos casually greets him like an old buddy, not a fearsome dean. To his disappointment, Ivis reveals he's lost his memories from 2,000 years ago. So what does Annos do? He strolls right up to Ivis and casts a spell to jog his memory. The entire class is left slack-jawed, wondering how Annos has the guts to waltz up to the scary-looking dean and do that. Then, as if nothing happened, he nonchalantly returns to his seat. After class, Annos chats with Ivis, letting him know that someone has been messing with history, making everyone believe the Demon King is Voldigoad instead of him. Ivis, unsure of whom to trust, decides to stay neutral for now. For the next exam, which is the dungeon exam, students are told to collect magic items from a dungeon. Anos, of course, decides to go big or go home. He aims for the dungeon's lowest level to snag a scepter for a perfect score. Knowing all the shortcuts since the exam took place at his castle, he gets there in record time. After grabbing the scepter, he offers Misha the Phoenix robe, one of his personal items, as a birthday gift for Sasha. Talk about brownie points. Misha gives the robe to Sasha, who tries it on, and Misha states that this is the happiest day of her life. Then things get wild. Out of nowhere, Sasha stabs Misha, declaring she was never their ally and had just been waiting to betray them. She warns Anos that if he tries to touch her, the knife will push deeper into Misha. But Anos, being the unflappable demon king he is, catches Sasha mid-flight and coolly reveals that he healed Misha the moment he entered the room, leaving an illusion behind. Classic Anos. Anos confronts Sasha, pointing out that if she truly hated Misha, her magic eyes of destruction would have kicked in. They didn't, so she's clearly lying. At Misha's request, Anos lets Sasha go, and she bolts with the robe and scepter. Then Misha drops a bombshell. She'll disappear when she turns 15, and the Misha Anos knows doesn't actually exist in this world. Now that's a mind-bending twist. Misha reveals that when Sasha was just a little fetus, Ivis decided to play God and split her into 2 babies, planning for them to fuse back into one super-powered demon when they turned 15. Misha gets teary-eyed as she explains to Anos that she doesn't really exist. She had just accepted her sad fate and thanks Anos, saying he was the only person who ever talked to her when everyone else ignored her. Anos, never one to shy away from a heartfelt moment, pulls her into a hug and makes her promise to believe there will be a tomorrow until her final moment. They catch up to Sasha, who reveals all her cruel behavior towards Misha was part of a plan to save her. She even created a spell to let Misha live while she herself would disappear. But here's the kicker. For the spell to work, Misha has to reject her, and that's why Sasha always treated her like crap. However, Misha, being the stubborn sweetheart she is, refuses to comply, so they sit there, tearfully waiting for Misha to vanish. Anos, not one to let things end on a tragic note, reveals a loophole. He can send them back in time to fuse their half-sources with those of their unborn fetus selves. This way, they'll be reborn with complete sources as true twin sisters. Time travel and magic, gotta love it. Just as things start to look up, Ivis suddenly crashes through the roof and stabs Anos, revealing his plan to use the fused body to host the true reincarnated Demon King. But Anos, being the badass he is, shrugs off the injury, grabs the demon sword, and hurls it at Ivis, incapacitating him. He then activates Revive to send Sasha and Misha back in time, only to be blocked by Hugo La Rabiaz, the guardian god of time. Things go from bad to worse when Ivis and Hugo fuse and kill Anos. Yeah, they freaking kill him. But Anos, refusing to stay dead, resurrects and reveals he's got enough power to even defy a god. Stronger than time itself, he manages to stop the god from freezing him. Anos tells the sisters that if they follow him, he'll take care of any troubles that come their way. They both vow to believe in him and pledge their loyalty, and with that commitment, they're saved. He then successfully sends the twins to the past to fuse with their unborn selves and summons Venestanoa, the magic sword of destruction that annihilates everything, to obliterate Ivis. After the dust settles, Anos resurrects Ivis and discovers he's fused with a third, unknown source. Returning all of Ivis's original memories, Anos pieces together that someone loyal to Avos Dilhevia has been pulling the strings. He tells Ivis to investigate, starting with the other 7 demon emperors. Meanwhile, Sasha and Misha return, now true sisters with separate sources, and everything seems right with the world. Despite all the epic drama and saving the day, Anos nonchalantly decides to go back and return his scepter to get a perfect score on the exam. Because why not finish with a perfect score after all that? Classic Anos. With the chaos finally settled, Anos realizes this is the world he always wished he'd created. As a final touch, he gifts Misha the ring she had been eyeing as a birthday present. Because even after all the drama, he's still got a soft spot for the little things. 2,000 years ago, Anos and a guy named Shin Regloa took on the great water spirit, Linyan. Anos bets Shin that if he can take out the water spirit with a single blow, he'll grant him any wish he wants. Shin nails it, and his wish? To be resurrected. But here's the catch, he'd have to start from scratch and lose all his memories due to a lack of source magic. In comparison, Anos states how good source magic is for hero Canon, who continues to return time and time again. Meanwhile, back in the present, Emilia drops a bombshell. a royal student famous for his sword skills, is transferring to the academy. In a sneaky move, she tries to mess with Anos's dungeon exam score by claiming the scepter was stolen, dragging their score from a perfect 100 to a dismal 70. Anos, however, flips the script by locating the missing scepter taken by a classmate, which is basically a middle finger to her sabotage attempt. Misa Ilirogu, a classmate, steps up to defend Anos, pointing out that Emilia would have handled things differently if Anos was a royal. Emilia, unfazed, reminds everyone that Unitarian campaigns are strictly off-limits on campus. After class, Misa fills Anos in on the Unitarians, who are all about creating a fair society where royals can't just steamroll over hybrids. Anos is intrigued to find out that Melhaze Borin, another Elder Demon Emperor, is also a Unitarian. Misa explains that the Unitarians think Anos is the Demon King of Tyranny and nudges Misha and Sasha to join them since they're on the same page. She takes them to what she dubs the headquarters of the Anos fan club. As soon as they walk in, the place erupts with fangirling, and every girl there turns into a blushing mess. Wait a minute, where are all the guys? Misa reveals that her dad was a royal, but she never met him because the fact that a royal has a hybrid daughter is a huge no-no. Despite that, he managed to send her half a demon sword on her 10th birthday, symbolizing that it would become whole when royals and hybrids could finally come together. Anos, impressed, decides to let Misa and her Unitarian crew join his team if they can prove they're not just about fangirling and actually have some skills. Meanwhile, the academy kicks off demon sword lessons. It's a simple concept: if the competitors can pull the swords from the ground, then they get to train with these two guys, namely Gaios Anzum and Idol Anzio. Turns out Anos and the transfer student, Ray Gransdori, are the only ones strong enough to pull the demon swords. Ray, disregarding his royal status and Emilia's protests to become the team leader, asks to join Anos's team. In order to prove himself worthy though, Anos tells him to team up with Misa and the girls in order to take him on. The next day, it's fuel time. This time Misha and Sasha work together for Anos and create a far stronger magic as they go toe-to-toe with Misa and the rest of Ray's team. But their opponents didn't come to play. They launch a spell called Gyneth, which manipulates objects and summons massive, moving castle-like troops. But determined as ever, Misha and Sasha use the Necron's secret technique, fusing their powers and wiping out the opposing forces. Turns out siblings can get along when they're blasting things together. Meanwhile, our hero faces off against Ray, using nothing but a twig he found. Yeah, a twig. It's like showing up to a gunfight with a toothpick. Except this is a sword fight. Ray proves to be a formidable opponent, which excites Anos. It's been ages since anyone challenged him like this. Even with a twig in hand, Anos manages to beat Ray. After the fight, they chat and realize this might not be the first time they've crossed swords. Anos asks Ray if he believes he's the Demon King. Ray, still catching his breath, says he's not sure but wouldn't be surprised, seeing the immense power Anos beholds. With that, Anos welcomes Ray to the team. After the duel, Anos invites Ray and Misa over for dinner along with Sasha and Misha. At the table, Anos officially welcomes Misa to his team, noting her impressive potential as the spell she used in the duel was Lignan's, the Great Spring of Water's signature move. Dinner's a lively affair, with Anos' parents regaling the Necron sisters with the tales of Anos' traumatic birth and the reason they're his #1 fans. Outside, Ray, looking all concerned, checks in with Misa because he's heard that half-spirit, half-demons don't exactly have a long life. But Misa seems to be doing okay, so she may be different from the rest. The next day, Emilia drops some big news. Ray and Anos have been chosen as competitors for the Magic Sword Tournament. Anos is immediately suspicious because he believes that the last thing the royalty would want for him is to win the Magic Sword Tournament. Later, Anos meets Melhaze Borin, one of the 7 Elder Demon Emperors. The moment Melhaze lays eyes on Anos, he drops to his knees, tears welling up, and tells Anos how he's been waiting forever for his resurrection. Despite his memories being wiped, he's still convinced Anos is the Demon King of Tyranny. Classic memory loss, losing your recollections but not your faith, right? Anos asks why he was chosen to compete in the tournament, and Melhaze explains that the royal supremacists are behind it. Since Anos is the beacon of hope for the Unitarians, they're out to crush that hope by taking him down. With that, Melhaze advises Anos to consider dropping out of the tournament. Back at home, Anos is greeted by Misha, who surprises him with his favorite dish, mushroom gratin. Seriously, does this guy eat anything else? To thank Misha for the mushroom gratin, Anos takes her out the next day. They visit her favorite spot, a magic model shop where you can craft and interact with magical constructs. When Misha asks Anos to make a model, he confidently declares it'll be a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. True to his word, his creation is so impressive that the shopkeeper is ready to sell the shop just to keep it. But Anos has other plans. Outside, Anos transforms the model into a ring and gifts it to Misha, who is completely awestruck. Misha, touched by the gesture, tells Anos he's been a great friend and always does so much for her, but she feels she can't repay him since he already seems to have everything. But Anos, ever the kind soul, tells her she has incredible talent in creation magic that could one day surpass his own. He adds that if Misha wants to help him, getting stronger could be a great start. Their next stop is a charming cat cafe, where everything is cute and fluffy until they bump into Ivis, who's undercover as a cat. Ivis spills some major tea. Someone higher up than Melhaze is pulling the strings of the Unitarians' moves. Adding to the tea, Ivis drops another bombshell. There's a mystery person affiliated with Log North Magic Hospital, the top hospital in their city, Dilhade. Unfortunately, he doesn't have more details yet. Intrigued, Misha and Anos decide to check out the hospital, where they conveniently run into Ray, who's there to visit his sick mother. Feeling a bit suspicious, Anos suggests Ivis keep an eye on Ray too. Tournament day rolls around, and Ivis, still rocking his cat disguise, drops more intel. He reveals that Melhaze has nothing to do with today's tournament, but Gaios and Idor of the 7 Elder Demon Emperors are involved. They've likely set a trap for Anos. Plus, Ray's mother is critically ill with spirit disease, a rare condition that didn't exist 2,000 years ago. Damn, things just keep getting more sick literally and figuratively. Anos considers skipping the tournament, but seeing how much his parents believe in him, his mom even came to his academy to cheer him on, he decides to step up. He's ready to face the reigning champ, Krut Ludoel, and prove that even hybrids can become the Demon Lord. Well, he's already the king, but you get it. Walking into the arena confidently with the magic sword his old man forged for him, Anos is all set to take down his opponent. Thanks for watching. Until I come back with part 2, don't forget to like and subscribe and watch this amazing anime plot on the screen.